Welcome back to Stellar Guy. Today we're diving deep into a hilarious and heartfelt episode of Reba titled The Man and the Moon. We'll recap the entire episode, explore the comedic moments, unexpected twists, and the family drama that unfolds. Stick around to the end for a complete breakdown of this story. Let's jump right in. The episode kicks off with Reba in her kitchen, attempting to fix a broken disposal. She's in full DIY mode, armed with tools and her characteristic determination. Jake, her young son, stands by watching his mom struggle with the sink. Reba, refusing to give up, is trying her best to channel her ex-husband Brock's methods of home repair. She mimics how Brock used to tinker with things, albeit without the same technical know-how, or, as she points out, his colorful choice of words when things go wrong. Despite her best efforts, the disposal remains clogged, and instead of the brown gunk going down the drain, it ominously bubbles up. Jake is fascinated, but Reba quickly tells him to grab the yellow pages as the realization sets in. She might actually need professional help. As independent as Reba is, there are some things even she can't fix, and this sink is one of them. Meanwhile, Van and Cheyenne are having their own conversation upstairs. Cheyenne, who is now visibly pregnant, laments about gaining weight. She's feeling self-conscious about her changing body, and Van, ever the loving, but sometimes clueless husband, tries to console her. He makes a playful joke, calling the baby a minivan, a cute play on his name, but it's clear that Cheyenne's not in the mood for humor. Van suggests she go out with her friends, thinking it might lift her spirits to get out of the house. He casually mentions how it could be like old times, her out with her friends and him with his, but then quickly realizes how different things are now that they're married and expecting a child. Downstairs, the plumber, Bill, arrives to take a look at Reba's troublesome sink. He's a friendly, down-to-earth guy, and it doesn't take him long to diagnose the problem. With a little professional expertise, Bill starts working on the sink, fixing the issues Brock's amateur attempts had likely caused. As Bill works, Reba watches, appreciating his help, but also realizing how much she's had to manage on her own since Brock left. Just as Bill is finishing up, Brock and Barbara Jean arrive to drop Jake off after a visit. Brock, immediately suspicious of Bill, asks why Reba hired a plumber. It doesn't take long for Brock to begin overanalyzing the situation, suggesting that Bill might be hitting on Reba. Barbara Jean, ever the comic relief, finds Brock's jealousy hilarious. She's always quick to laugh at Brock's insecurities, but Reba isn't amused by Brock's accusations. She quickly dismisses his concerns, reminding him that he no longer lives there, so it's none of his business. Reba's sharp wit cuts through Brock's jealousy, and even though Brock still seems uncomfortable, there's nothing he can do. Upstairs, Cheyenne has taken Van's advice to heart and is out with her friends. It feels like old times as she reconnects with her high school buddies. The girls convince her to take part in a prank. They're going to moon the school football team's bus as it drives by. At first, Cheyenne hesitates, but under the pressure of her friends and wanting to prove she's still fun despite being pregnant, she goes along with it. As the bus approaches, the girls pull down their pants and moon the bus, much to the shock of Van, who happens to be on board. His initial reaction is one of disbelief as he watches his pregnant wife participate in the prank. What's worse is that someone had the brilliant idea to write "Go Van" on Cheyenne's rear end. Van is furious, not just because Cheyenne took part in the prank, but because he feels like her butt, his butt, as he claims, was on display for the entire school. Cheyenne, however, brushes it off as harmless fun, challenging Van's possessive attitude. She argues that just because they're married doesn't mean he gets to control her body or dictate what she does. This sets the stage for one of the episode's main themes, the clash between Van's somewhat traditional, possessive attitude and Cheyenne's need for independence and autonomy, even as a wife and soon-to-be mother. The mooning incident, however, doesn't end there. It turns out one of Cheyenne's friends took a picture of the prank and posted it online. Cheyenne is mortified when she discovers that her butt is now part of an online voting contest titled Pick Your Butt 2001. Not only is her butt on display for the world, but she's also losing the contest. Van, who initially found the whole thing frustrating, now becomes even more protective. He can't stand the idea of strangers looking at his wife in such a way, and his competitive side kicks in. When Cheyenne asks him to help fix the situation, Van takes matters into his own hands. Though his solution, telling everyone not to vote for Cheyenne's butt, doesn't quite work as intended. Back at Reba's house, Bill, the plumber, finishes up the work and offers to help Reba pick out a new faucet. Reba, at first hesitant, agrees, and they set a time to go shopping together. As Bill leaves, Brock is still fuming about the entire situation. He's uncomfortable with the idea of Reba moving on and doesn't like the thought of another man being in her life. His jealousy becomes more apparent, but Reba isn't having it. She asserts her independence, reminding Brock that he left, and she's free to see whoever she wants. The next day, Bill arrives to pick up Reba for their faucet shopping trip. Kyra and Jake are quick to jump on the idea that this is a date, despite Reba's protests. She insists that Bill is just a friendly handyman helping her with home repairs, but Kyra points out that it certainly seems like more than that. As Reba and Bill head off to the store, Brock shows up again, further fueling the drama by continuing to question Bill's intentions. At the store, Reba and Bill have a surprisingly fun time picking out faucets. Bill's easygoing nature and charm start to win Reba over, and for a moment, it feels like they're on an actual date, even though Reba tries to convince herself otherwise. They joke about the different faucets and even hop into a display bathtub, which leads to a light-hearted, almost romantic moment. Reba starts to realize that she's enjoying Bill's company more than she expected, but she's also conflicted because her divorce from Brock isn't even finalized yet. Back at home, Van and Cheyenne continue to argue about the mooning incident. Cheyenne is upset that her prank spiraled out of control, and Van, despite his protectiveness, is trying to figure out how to make things right. The online voting for the mooning picture has intensified, and Cheyenne's butt is losing. This, combined with her growing insecurities about her pregnancy, leaves her feeling defeated. Van, realizing how much this is affecting her, tries to comfort her in his own clumsy way, reminding her that he loves her no matter what. Meanwhile, Reba and Bill return from their faucet shopping trip. Bill, ever the gentleman, walks Reba to her door and thanks her for the fun evening. There's an awkward moment where it seems like Bill might try to kiss her, but Reba gently lets him down. She explains that she's not ready to start dating yet, and that as much fun as she had, she's still processing her feelings about the divorce. Bill is understanding and respectful, telling her that he'll wait for her whenever she's ready. It's a sweet and touching moment that highlights Reba's vulnerability as she navigates life post-divorce. Just as Bill leaves, Brock shows up again, having found out about the date. He confronts Reba, accusing her of moving on too quickly, but Reba shuts him down. She firmly tells Brock that he made his choice when he left her for Barbara Jean, and now she's free to make her own choices. Brock, still grappling with his feelings, reluctantly accepts that he no longer has any control over Reba's life. It's a pivotal moment for both of them, as they come to terms with the new dynamics of their relationship. The episode ends on a light-hearted note, as Cheyenne finally comes to terms with the mooning incident. Reba shares a heartfelt moment with her daughter, revealing that she too had her wild moments in high school. She tells Cheyenne about a time when she and her friend Maxine went skinny dipping, only to be caught by the entire swim team. Cheyenne, hearing that her mom wasn't always so composed, feels reassured that everyone makes mistakes and what matters is how you move on from them. That wraps up our recap of this hilarious and heartwarming episode of Reba, the Man and the Moon. We hope you enjoyed this in-depth storytelling breakdown. Don't forget to subscribe to Stellar Guy for more full episode recaps of your favorite shows. Leave a comment below with your favorite Reba moments, and we'll see you in the next video.